All right. Excellent. Hello, everyone. I see we've got folks chiming in or coming in, excuse me. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. So we started it off a little bit early to make sure folks are coming in and getting themselves situated, get comfortable. This is going to be 1 full hour of our community webinar. And this is our last winter installment too. So we're excited and elated to have you all. As folks are coming in, I'm going to just give quick little brief housekeeping items just to make sure everyone's well navigated and have the know-how of what to expect as well. So excited to have you all join us. So thank you for making time for us. So as folks are coming in and we're getting ourselves acclimated to our upcoming webinar that we're going to share out, then the bottom tool dock, you're going to see a couple of icons. And so one in particular that I'll just share and navigate is the Q&A. So if you have any questions throughout the webinar, feel free to respond in the Q&A section. Now, if you have a comment, feel free to put that in the chat window, and we will do our very best to respond to your comments as well. Again, the whole point of this webinar is that you take away something that you're hoping to learn more about. We already have our first poll up, so if folks want to take a minute to respond to the poll, that would be great, so that way we can start moving forward. The webinar is designed for us to essentially share out more about our software, which is myViewBoard, and also get to know a lot of the latest and greatest updates as well. Along with that, we want to also share with you why we're all here together, and that ultimately is we are constantly building our community. And so I will navigate and share screen in just a second to share what that means in a moment to us. But in the meantime, as folks are coming in, feel free to respond to that poll. And once you've done that, again, for those that just joined us, 2 items that just keep in mind. We have a Q&A section so that folks can essentially ask their questions. So feel free if there's a question that you may have, or if you want to take away the question because we answered it during the presentation, you can do that. And if you have a comment, please put that in the chat. All right, folks. So as folks are joining, I'm sure a lot of you all are trying to adjust for the hour that we've just went through a daylight saving adjustment this past weekend. So if your body clock hasn't fully reset it, don't worry. I think we're all in that same boat. So if you don't mind, in the meantime, as we get folks trickling in the chat window, why don't you share with us where are you logging in from? All right. And as folks do that, I'm going to share a couple of brief announcements. We've got folks from Syracuse, New York. We've got folks from Ohio, Kentucky, Oakland, California, Georgia. Wow. Amazing. Indianapolis. I love it. New Hampshire. All right. Excellent. We've got some awesome people joining us today. So thank you for joining us from all over the nation, all over the states. So good to see you all. So thank you. All right, folks. So as promised, we've got some announcements to share before we dive into our webinar discussion and presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and everything I'm sharing with you now, do not worry. You do not have to take notes. I will put them in the chat throughout today's webinar, so that way you all can reference, okay? So a couple of items here to share. So I'm going to give you all a virtual open house tour of our community. So I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully you all can see my window now. And what I'm sharing currently is our ViewSonic website. So if you were to go to viewsonic.com, you're essentially going to see 2 sections here. So viewsonic.com and education. So highly advised to click on the education. And once you're there, you're going to see different navigational points. And so if you click on the community, it will take you here to this landing page. Now in our landing page, we try to make it as easy, as smooth as possible. Essentially, if you want to have access to our community platform, it's just as simple as clicking this button here, which I will navigate in just a second. But I want to guide your attention to our sliding banners that we've got here. And ultimately, what the sliding banners share is big announcements, right? And so one in particular is a quick announcement of becoming an ambassador. So if you were to click here, ultimately, there's ways for you all to earn rewards, some points, if you will, within our educator platform. And by essentially completing certain tasks, you're essentially able to qualify for different levels, which you can see here that will earn you prizes. So essentially what you do already, you can essentially be accounting them as points within our platform. So it's all broken down in the description below. So there's bullet point items and what that means. And there's a rubric tied to it so that you know how many points you're earning based off the post or activity, or even efforts as submitting a lesson plan that you'd like to share for the good of the group or for the good of the community. So highly recommended. And if this is of interest, all you would have to do is click up on a sign up and our amazing community manager will give you a ping and ultimately hold an online info session with you. Okay, so let me take you back to the landing page. I do want to share that we've got also other programs, and one in particular that I'm excited about is the Refer a Friend program that we've got going on. So if you were to click on Learn More, ultimately, you all folks are here today, but I'm sure you have colleagues that you wish that could make it, or are at least informed about our community. And so you're able to do that. And at the same time, why not? We want to essentially throw some incentive there and give you all a chance to win great prizes. So if you were to click on Refer a Friend, it'll lead you to a form and you can refer as many as one friend or multiple friends. And so there's different levels and tiers that you'll see here, that these are our prizes that we're offering at the moment. And we'll keep this refreshed so that way folks can see the different incentives as we move on. So highly recommended if this is something that you don't want to do alone. And let's just admit, when it comes to learning, we're better doing it in cohort format, right? And we're always stronger together. So highly recommend doing this if you are interested in sharing it with other colleagues. Now, as I mentioned earlier, in our landing page, there's a join the community button here. So I'm going to click here to navigate you all to our community platform. Again, the whole purpose of how we're bringing these webinars to life is that now we have a platform that we can do this. And so once you click on join the community, you're going to see many different navigational points. And for the sake of time, I'm only going to guide you here to the regional forums where it says USA and Canada. So as you all know, today is the latest tools in myViewBoard software webinar. So you're going to see a banner here and you're going to be able to click and join in RSVP and so forth, and even recall past webinar recordings. You'll also see, if you scroll down, many different posts that we're doing and promoting. A big post that just got recently added is our district spotlight, our very first version, volume 1, if you will. Highly recommend to take a read and actually give us some comments. And if this is something that you found very touching and you would like to be a part of that, guess what? You are in our community and essentially you can reach out to us at any point and there's information in there so that way you can contact us. We're also going to be doing an exercise towards the end of the hour where we are going to give an incentive for folks to join in our community and be able to comment. And so I'm kind of giving you a little bit of foreshadow here what's going to happen. So what I wanted to share too, if you scroll down, there's going to be a lot of discussion board, just like any discussion board. So you're able to ask questions, promote ideas, essentially get connected with other community members in the US area and get to know what are those commonality points. And so we highly recommend it. And then for the purpose of today too, I'm just going to navigate you all. So if you were to click here into our webinar banner, you'll see our message here. And ultimately, I don't know if folks can see this at the bottom, but you're going to see what it says. What are your thoughts? We're going to do this exercise together and we're going to have you all essentially enter your thoughts here. Okay. If you already have, if you're part of the community already, you should have access to that. If you don't and you're not sure, highly recommend to sign up for an account. Essentially, it's very easy to do on the upper right. You won't see it in my end, but essentially on the upper right, there's a way for you to sign up. You can do a single sign-on, which is what I do, to make life easier, to remember things like passwords and credentials and things of that nature. And essentially, you're able to participate and have full access of the community, if you will. So with that being said, I'm excited that I get to share on the top of the hour some prizes that we have in store, and we have some winners already elected because we did the Refer a Friend program. As stated here, these are the prizes that folks are going to be winning. So if you are in this webinar, fantastic, stay tuned. But if you're not, we'll be sending this out via email, and then we'll be shipping it out to you all. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to announce some winners here. So if you don't mind, if you're not a winner, whatnot, don't worry. There's chances. We do this every month. So we've got about 3 months worth of prizes to give away. So again, our goal is to get folks excited about referring other friends to join us. And you can see we take this very seriously. So we want to essentially reward those that put in that effort. All right. If you don't mind, all in the chat, give me some emoticons, send me some clapping hands, some drums here. So for the month of January, for level 1, we'll be taking home a ViewSonic Omni VX2418C curved gaming monitor. Let me see here, drum roll. It's going to be Charlene Bird. Awesome. So Charlene Bird, you are the winner for the month of January. Fantastic. And for the month of February, our winner is Debbie Smith. Fantastic. Debbie, you'll be getting a Omni VX 2418C. And for the month of March, this March, is Brendan Powell. Fantastic. So these are 3 winners for level 1. Now we're going to move on to level 2. So these are folks that referred 3 educator friends. So level 2 winners. So for the month of January, we have Nicole Williams. So congratulations, Nicole. For the month of February, we've got Tara White. Fantastic, Tara White. You're the winner of a ViewSonic Omni VX2428, a 24-inch gaming monitor. All right, and for the month of March, it is Benjamin Kosher. Fantastic, Benjamin. You are also a winner of a ViewSonic Omni VX2428. All right, folks, we've got our level 3 winners, and our level 3 winners are the folks that referred 5 educator friends. So this is for the prize of a ViewSonic Omni VX1755 portable gaming monitor, one of my favorites. And here we go. For the month of January, we've got Logan Childress. Fantastic, Logan. You are the winner of a portable gaming monitor. And for the month of February, we've got Dora Perez. Fantastic, Dora. You take home a portable gaming monitor. And for the March month, we've got Anna Cook. So Anna Cook. All right. And that concludes our Refer a Friend giveaway, if you will. And so again, for those that did not win and is in this webinar, please note we take it very serious, and I'll put the link in the chat if you'd like to participate as early as today, and this will carry over for the upcoming month. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop share screen, and I'm going to hand this over to our amazing product manager, Miss Haley Hunt, who's going to be presenting. And I want folks, you know what, if you don't mind, giving Haley lots of hearts in the emoticon chat there. She has been amazing throughout it all and been able to do our monthly webinars. So please give a round of emoticon hearts in the chat. And without further ado, we've got Miss Haley Hunt. Thank you, Haley.
Yeah, thanks, Ruben. So welcome, everyone. I'm so glad that you're able to join us for this last installment of this winter series. I know spring is upon us very rapidly and quickly, but we're happy to round out this last season of what we're going through with all these new updates. So for those of you who are not aware, on Monday of last week, we pushed out a new update to Whiteboard, and we're very excited to go through what those updates entail. So I hope throughout this presentation, you get some tips and tricks and ideas on how to use this update to your advantage. We're very excited about certain opportunities within this new update. So if you're not aware of them, stay tuned because we're going to go through it. So as we get started, we've already talked about community and all of the great things that are coming through there. So pay attention. Please stick around. We would be happy for you to join us in a fun Q&A. And again, as Ruben mentioned, there are always prizes that we're looking for at the end of each month. And so we really want you to take advantage of that and participate so that you can win some great prizes. If you have any questions throughout my presentation, please feel free to use that Q&A box at the top or bottom of your window. This is going to be where our team can help answer any of the questions that you have. If any go unanswered by the end of this presentation, I will go ahead and answer those live too, because we want to make this all about you and make sure that you have any questions you have answered before you go. But if you just want any comments that you want to add, feel free to add that into the chat. And then at the end of this presentation, love to hear what you say in the community as well, so that all of us can get back to you, answer, and just see what we can do to improve in the future. So I have a couple of ways that I'm going to break this out. We're going to take a couple breaks in between. We're also going to have more poll questions. And again, we're going to talk about the important updates. If you have been part of these webinars in the past, you also know that I love to end it with a game time. So we are going to do our famous spin the wheel or roll the dice with our Finch to get it to the end line. So stay tuned for that. And then of course, ending it with our educator community. So before we get started, we should have another poll that will come to you. Again, this poll information is very helpful for us so that we can help tailor some of this information to you in the future, so that everything that we give provides you information that is important to you. So with that, take a moment to answer the poll. But before we get too much into the updates, there are a few things that I always like to point out before we get started. So if you are new to myViewBoard Whiteboard, this slide is going to be very helpful because it is an overall layout. You're going to notice in the upper corner here that I'm pointing with my arrow. I will also go ahead and use my laser pen to be able to point this out. You're going to notice there are plenty of items on this board. So if you are new to Whiteboard, it's probably good to get acquainted with where we're going to be talking about things today. So in the section that I'm highlighting with my laser pen, this is where you're going to see your Whiteboard session name. Now, this is unique to your account, and this is also where you're going to go to see and display your session info. So if you want students to join via QR code, you'd be able to click on your name and be able to share this with your QR code. This is also how students can interact with the board by throwing images or even answering poll questions. Another thing is title bars. So we're going to get into some great ways that you can import some existing files or create new ones for your lesson plans. But the title bar is going to show to make sure that you are in the correct lesson that you intend. So we are in the winter series, so that shows correctly. Another thing we're going to focus on is in this corner over here. There is a list of great options here. So you can have access to third-party accounts. You can also have access to settings, which we're going to take some time to go through later in a little bit, but also notifications for those students who send images to the board or if they answer a poll question. But of course, this is where you can also close or minimize, maximize the window. But of course, if you need to sign in or sign out, down in the corner here where I'm pointing with the yellow arrow is going to be an icon. And that icon is where you can either sign in or sign out. So with our Whiteboard, you have the ability to use single sign-on. So if you want to use Google single sign-on, Apple, or even Microsoft as well. So that's what I personally use. For my setup, I am talking to you on a desktop setup. So I'm talking to you with my monitor, I have my web camera here, and I'm also using a keyboard and mouse with the device that's running it is my Windows Surface Pro. So you are noticing that this screen that I'm sharing with you all is Whiteboard for Windows. So one of the things about myViewBoard Whiteboard is that it is cross-device compatible, meaning I can use it on my Windows Surface Pro, but I can also use it on a viewboard or the interactive touchboard like you may have in your classrooms. But I can also use it on things like my iPad or Google Chromebooks or even a Chromebox itself. So that you can have multiple options. Even MacBooks with the M1 chip or newer can also access myViewBoard Whiteboard. Now you might notice some differences between Windows and those more Android focused applications. But no worries there. I will talk about any differences with these updates that are going to appear depending on which version you have. But no matter what, you are able to open up any of these presentations, no matter what device you're on. So I have put this presentation together, but I could easily open it up on an interactive board when I'm in our training room at the office as well. So that is a great way to be able to work on lessons in advance while you're at home on any device that you feel comfortable with and use the hardware that you have available to you in your classrooms. So that's one thing that I always like to point out. Definitely a very helpful tool, and we'll be talking about that more later. But another thing that we want to focus on is the main toolbar. The main toolbar is at my bottom of the screen, but it could be different on your screen depending on how you use it. So the main toolbar is where we're going to be focusing on some of the updates that are new to myViewBoard Whiteboard. But the main toolbar is really your home base. That's where you're going to be using a majority of the tools for annotation and also editing. Another toolbar that we have is called the floating toolbar. This is how I've already used to advance the presentation. I can also add pages. I can access the clipboard for copying images. I can also move from present mode or prepare mode. So I am in prepare mode, but I can always easily switch to present mode as well. One thing to also note is you may notice a yellow microphone. Now this is something that's different from myViewBoard Windows version versus something like on the Android, on your viewboard. So Windows version does have the ability to have live captions enabled. So if you have access to a microphone, I would be able to use this live captions to be able to start having my audio read out to the users. So this is great for users who are learning a new language so that they can hear the language and they can also read it on the board. So I am using it. I'm not sure if my screen capture is sharing it with you all, but I'm gonna go ahead and stop that now. So this is something that is a very fun feature. If you're using this on your view boards and you do have an entity account, which most of you probably do, this is something that we can set up for you. Some other things that we're going to talk about are background management and participate mode. Participate mode is only for Windows, just something to note, but those are all of the tools that we're going to be looking at. And I do want to show, as we get started with some of the improvements, some main things that we're going to focus on. Like I said, we're going to go to settings, we're going to focus on the floating toolbar and the main toolbar. So one of the first updates is that you can now edit the main toolbar and floating toolbar. So if you are used to using myViewBoard Windows or Android, you may be wondering, well, I could already edit. I could always move it around by using this arrow. But one thing you're going to notice is that the arrow pointed in the 4 different directions is no longer on the main toolbar. One thing to note there is that that does not mean that the toolbar is set to the bottom position. It just means we have included an easier way for it to add to any section of the display. And something you're going to notice is this new gray box with a red arrow, and that's where you're going to go to move your main toolbar. So you can use it left, right, bottom, and top. So if I want to have the main toolbar on the left-hand side for easier access, all I have to do is click this button and it snaps into place. So this is intended to make it easier. We've heard feedback from many users that sometimes dragging the main toolbar across the screen, depending on what size viewboard you have in your classroom, can be pretty tedious. So hopefully this makes it easier to access all the tools depending on how you prefer. So I'm going to keep it at the bottom of the toolbar for now, but that is one way that you can edit the toolbar. Another way is through settings. So settings is going to be this gear icon at the top of the screen. One thing that you're going to note that's different is once the settings pop up, there's going to be toolbar configurations. Now that means that I can uncheck or check any of these tools to customize the toolbar to my needs. So if I know that I'm never going to use wireless presentation, which is this blue circle with the 3 people in the middle, I can go ahead and disable it. I can also remove the files, I can remove Magic Box, I can remove the Chrome, and I can also remove participate mode. Now this one at the bottom here, this is a new service that we're going to be introducing to you all, which is called ClassSwift. We'll have more information about that in upcoming webinars. So if you're interested in learning more about how to interact with your students with engaging polls at the moment, or even preparing them ahead of time, ClassSwift is going to be a really key tool for you. So we would love to have you stick around in our community to see that announcement when it fully goes live, but also stick around for new webinars because we're going to be doing some demonstrations of this new product. But beyond that, you have more customization for the toolbar that makes sense for you. So we hope that this provides extra customization, also avoids confusion for any tools that you may not be using, like maybe the snapshot tool or recording. So now you have the ability to make this whiteboard truly your own. So with that, that is our first set of important updates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a brief pause. There is going to be a poll question that comes up, and then we'll get started on the other updates. All right, so hopefully you had the chance to answer that poll. Let's get into one of the most important and exciting updates that we have for all of you, which is now you can import Google Slides. In the past, you could also import Google Slides, but this time what makes this so exciting is now you can insert the slides with editable objects. That means that you can insert any existing lessons that you already have or student presentations and import them directly into Whiteboard and be able to interact with the objects. So if you have previous lessons that you've created where you allow students to come up and engage with the board, maybe move objects around or change the text, you can now do that all from Whiteboard. So that helps save some time with having to create all new lessons. You can take everything that you've already created, spend a lot of time preparing, and now be able to interact directly in Whiteboard and save your annotations and make use of the infinite canvas. So in a previous update, we did share in January that you could also do this with PowerPoints. So now hopefully this provides more options for you to access any type of PowerPoint or Google slide that you've already had to add to your lessons. So there's a couple of things that I want to point out before we try it out for ourselves. So one thing that is going to be important is access to Magic Box. Magic Box is where we go to always import files. So Magic Box, if you call it the Amazon package, however you wish. I personally like Mary Poppins Purse because it seems infinite in everything that it can contain. But one place that you're going to go to when you access Magic Box is cloud storage. So as you can see, I have Google Drive imported here. And I also have OneDrive. I personally use OneDrive for business because I am using my work account, but you can have access to multiple cloud types as you wish. So I do want to show you all, if you're unfamiliar with how to bind your cloud storage. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to first use my Windows toggle button, which is the blue squares at the bottom of my screen that I'm pointing at with the yellow arrow. This is just going to allow me to navigate to any screen that I have in the background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate to my myviewboard.com dashboard. And in here, you're going to see that I am on the new UI. What I can do here is I would be able to access my settings. So I'm going to access my settings by clicking on this icon here. I'm going to go to settings. And once I'm in settings, I'll be able to click on this app and cloud integration. Now this will allow you to bind any type of cloud storage that you have signed up. So if you have a personal account, you'll be able to bind that. If you're using your work email and you have different storage accounts for work, you could also do that here. So my default is OneDrive for Business. So when I do save in the future, it will try to offer to save it to my OneDrive. Of course, I could always switch it to Google Drive if I wanted. But now that I have both of these set up, now we'll be able to navigate back to our presentation to demonstrate how this would work. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my laser pen. I'm going to go to the magic box. And at the magic box, I would be able to go to my OneDrive. And now at my OneDrive, I'll be able to import a document. So now that I have the documents up, I would be able to find a compatible format. Sorry about the video. So now that I have the compatible formats, I would be able to go to PowerPoint, and I would be able to find any PowerPoint documents that I have available. So I can look through here, I can find some important documents here. All of these are in PowerPoint form. If I want, I can navigate directly to my view board, and I can find documents that I would want to use. So these are all of my myViewBoard whiteboard files that I could access. As you can see, there's multiple pathways. If I want, I can go back to the folder. No matter where I am, it will show me the pathway. And then I'd be able to go ahead and access any of these types of presentations. So while that's downloading, it's going to come up with a couple of little documents, and it's going to show me previews of what each of those PowerPoint slides will look like. So it will take a little bit of time just to download depending on the size of the presentation. Now, please note that with these presentations, there's always a size limit, so don't be trying to do 200 slides at once. For any type of document, it's always best to keep it a little bit smaller, just so that it's quicker for you to install. So I have this presentation about myViewBoard Manager. If I wanted to, I could select some of these devices here, all about myViewBoard Manager, which is one of our other software platforms for actually managing the hardware and the devices and sending broadcasted messages. And then I'd be able to import. So there's a couple of things. You can import as an object or import as background. I will import as object and import landscape. So what that's going to do is it's going to refresh, and it's going to take just a second to add all these slides to my presentation. So now each one adds as an individual slide. And what you're going to notice is I will be able to now move the text. I can move the shapes. I can find this image and I can resize it. And I can do that for all of the pages here. So when I go to page management, I'm going to see all of the great slides that I've already added. So you may note that some items like this is a great example. The text is still here, but you may have to do a little bit of reconfiguration. To do that, it's going to show you as a text box. And the way that you can edit is by double clicking, and now you've opened up your text box. So you can always highlight, you can remove. So if I wanted to cut, I could do so and remove the text. I can always just add it back in, and then you can take whatever you want to reformat. So in some cases, this might be necessary. In the other example with the images, there was no reformatting needed. So that's just something to be aware of, but a very cool feature nonetheless. So let's go back to our previous slide. And on the slide, let's do the same thing for Google Slides. Now, this is the new one for this presentation. I'm going to Magic Box. I'm going to Google Slides. So I'm going to my Google Drive here. And now I'd be able to find G Suite applications. So what you're going to notice is I have a couple of slides available. So I'm going to click on my flashcards. Again, it's going to do the same thing that I did for my previous file that was in PowerPoint. It's going to process the canvas. It's going to present with images here. And for this one, I'm just going to select all. And I'm going to import landscape. Again, what this is going to do is it's going to import each slide by slide. And now I will be able to edit. So I can rename the subject. I can move the text around. I can rename it. All of this is available here. So one thing that you're going to notice is that you may have to unlock certain images to move them or ungroup them. No worries there. You'll always be able to edit or move things around. So again, here's an example of just a picture image. What you're going to notice is that this group symbol that pops up in the adorning menu is going to be here. Just go ahead and ungroup, and now you'll be able to move things around with different objects. So I've moved this around. I can always just delete the image. I can add a new image, and now I can get back to however I've already set it up. So great ideas for Google Slides. I'd be really interested to find out how this might help some of your lessons, because we do know that some of our sites are more Google centric as it is. And this was one thing that was highly requested from a lot of people like you within the community and also in some of our workshops in the past. So we're hoping to enhance and increase how many places that you can go to access existing files. So let's go ahead and navigate back to our next poll question. So I'm going to go ahead and briefly pause here. Please take time to answer this next poll, and then we're going to get into a game time. All right, hopefully you had time to go ahead and answer that poll. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into game time. So game time is one of our favorite things around here. Of course, we have our amazing Finch, and I'm going to have Ruben help me ask some questions. So Ruben, go ahead and please tell the team how you would like to move ahead with this new type of game.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Haley, for that. And again, folks, there was a lot to unpack, and now it's time for Check for Understanding now. So what I'd like for everybody to do is let's take a moment to actually go to our community platform. So I'm going to post the link so that way folks have it. So if you have it in front of you, that would be ideal. And so what I will do is I will ask the question, and I would like for folks to actually respond to the question here in that link that I just shared out. So as Haley prepares the share screen there, that is where the questions will be posted. And you all will essentially respond to my question, and we'll see if you get the right answer or not. How about that? So I'm going to share it out loud, and at the same time, for folks to respond within the community. So I'm going to do that right now. So I'm going to put the first question. And if you guys get the question right, we're going to roll that die and then essentially move the Finch to see if it gets to the finish line. All right. So the first question is, So folks, if you don't mind clicking on that link that I just put on the chat, you will see exactly the question that I've posted for question number 1. All right. So question number 1 is posted. Hopefully you can see that. Okay. So what tool should you use to import a file? So take a minute or take a few seconds there, click on the link and respond to my reply. Looks like we're getting folks replying, so we'll see. Might need a refresh. Yep, we've got folks replying. So let me go ahead and refresh my page and see what folks have responded. And it looks like we've got Magic Toolbox, Magic Box. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for those that replied. And Haley, what do you say? Is that the right answer?
That's the correct answer. And I've already gone ahead and rolled the dice. So we've got number 4.
All right, excellent. 4. So we're going to ask the next question. So question number 2 is, I'm going to post it right now. Okay, and that hopefully should appear in folks' screen. So question number 2 is out, folks. So it should be on the top there. Question number 2, what tool allows me to move the canvas? What tool allows me to move the canvas? So if you'd like to reply, go ahead and click on that link that's in the chat, and hopefully you'll get straight to this post and you're able to reply by clicking that reply button right underneath question number 2. Okay, looks like we've got folks replying. All right. Excellent, excellent.
All right. I would say the hand is an acceptable answer. We
Yeah,
do call that the infinite canvas. And if you call it the hand, infinite canvas, whatever helps you remember it, I accept that. So I'll go ahead and spin the wheel.
awesome, awesome. Yeah, I love the gesture there. That was awesome. Fantastic. So we're spinning the wheel. It looks like we got, oh wow, it looks like, 6. Okay, we're moving 6 steps there. Excellent. So as Haley's moving the Finch, everyone's improving, boosting up their knowledge. I'm going to go ahead and ask question number 3. Question number 3. All right. So question number 3 is posted. So hopefully folks can see that. Should be on the very top there. Okay, so I'm going to read it. So what files can now be imported with editable objects? So what files can now be imported with editable objects? Okay. Taking a quick second, it looks like we got our first response. Right, fantastic. We're going to refresh that page. Looks like we're getting folks responding. Okay. And if we refresh our page, we'll get a response. And it looks like we've got PowerPoint. It looks like, what do we got here? Yes, slides in PowerPoint, Google Slides and PowerPoint. Fantastic. And that is correct. Thank you, folks, for participating. Awesome. We're going to spin that wheel again, or excuse me, not wheel. We're going to roll the die. Excellent. Excellent. And the Finch is getting closer. So we're going to go into question number 4 now. And this one is going to be a true and false question. So here it is. It's posted officially, so it's up. Fantastic. I know we've got folks posted there, so hopefully everybody can see that. So true or false, the pen tool only has 3 colors. Is that true or false? We've got so many folks responding. I love it. We've got the first one responding false. Let's give a second for others to chime in. Is it true or false? Let's see here. All right. We're going to refresh our page. Let's give a few seconds for others to respond. And the correct answer is it's indeed false. So fantastic. We're going to roll that die or spin that wheel. All right, let's see if we get enough to take the Finch home. And it looks like we got 4. Okay, so we have time for another question. So I'm going to type it up right now. Question number 5. All right, so question number 5 is out. And hopefully, if you refresh your page, you'll see my question posted. It should be on the very top. And question number 5 is, can you save files to Google Drive? Can you save files to Google Drive? Okay, so waiting on folks to respond. Can you save files on Google Drive? And we're getting folks responding. Let's see, and it looks like we've got a couple of yeses. Yes, yes, yes. All right. I love the participation. Everyone's getting gold stars, and we're waiting on a few more seconds just to make sure folks are captured. All right. Yep. The answer is, if you did write in or chatted in, yes, that is correct. Let's see if we take the Finch home. So let's spin that wheel or roll that die. Oh, we've got 1. Oh, no way. We didn't make it fully. So we get to actually ask another question. So let's do.
Yeah, Ruben, I have an idea.
Yes. What do you think, Haley?
How about we ask them what is their favorite new update to this myViewBoard whiteboard feature update?
Oh, that's a great question. What is your favorite new update to myViewBoard? Okay, it's posted. That's a great idea, Haley. So let's see, folks, put some thought into this one. What is your favorite new update? It's officially out there in the chat world. So go ahead and respond to it. Right. And folks, as you respond, you're all getting a chance to participate so that you all can win a $25 giftogram. So feel free to keep those responses going. Just takes one response. Excellent. We're seeing some responses already coming in. Love it. Truly, truly love it. Let's see here. What have we got? I'm going to go ahead and refresh my page so I can see through. Customize toolbar. All right, importing editable slides. That's huge for our teachers. Awesome. Thank you for those responses. PowerPoint and Google Slide Edition. That's huge. Customizing the main toolbar. Clear the clutter. I love it. Clear the clutter. All right, and then tie between, oh, there you go. More responses coming in. Editable slides. My favorite update would have to be the ability to edit objects with Google Slides. Of course, who doesn't? All right, Google Slides that are editable. I love it. Fantastic. Oh gosh, guys, everybody responding to that question. Thank you all for participating. I don't know, Haley, what do you think? Do you think we have enough to take the Finch home?
I sure hope so. Yes.
All right, we did. Fantastic. We get to celebrate. Awesome. All right, folks. Well, because you all have been participating, I'm going to go ahead and spin a wheel. And listen, I'm going to do that as we speak and pick a winner. So I'm going to do that right now. And thank you. So everybody that participated is going to get a chance. And so I'm going to announce a winner in just a few seconds. So thank you. I'm going to give folks a quick second or two to make sure that they get their responses in. We love that you got a chance to participate. And it looks like I just want to make sure I captured everyone. And more importantly, as I mentioned, some of the housekeeping items earlier, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us on the community chat platform. Again, we have lots of different programs to essentially reward folks. And that's what we want to do, to keep things as festive as possible, because it takes really your thoughts, your ideas, and none of this is possible without your input. So I can't thank you enough. And we want to be with like-minded folks like you all are. So feel free to bring more folks into our ViewSonic Educator community platform. And ultimately, we'd like to hear how we can make more improvements and essentially get you guys connected with other like-minded folks. All right, it looks like we're getting more responses. So I'm actually going to refresh my page to make sure I don't miss anyone when I spin this wheel. So let me just get a few folks that are just coming in, and I'll share my screen in just a short moment. And we'll get folks into our spin the wheel. So I'm just double checking here. And I wish there was a faster way for me to do this, a more efficient way, but I have to do it the old-fashioned way. All right. Okay, so I think that's it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and spin this wheel. But before I do all that, folks on the chat, please give, again, a big warm emoticon clapping hands to Miss Haley Hunt, who gave us a presentation just now to share with us the latest updates on myViewBoard. And I guess the biggest compliment you can give Haley is in the chat. Feel free to share some shout outs as well within the community. And again, Haley has just been superb when it comes to getting that information out there, and her passion for teaching truly shows and shines. So thank you so much, Haley, for presenting. Excellent. All right, folks. So I'm getting more people responding here. So let's see here. Let's make sure I got everyone. Okay. I think that is everybody. So without further ado, let's give, yes, there is a question in the Q&A. Let's make sure we get that question. So we're actually typing in the answer as we speak. So thank you, Miss Judy there for that question. We're going to get that answered. Now, in the meantime, let's get folks ready for our spin the wheel. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and spin this wheel, and one lucky winner will win a $25 giftogram. So feel free to start putting those drum rolls. If I may ask my moderating team to start putting those drums together, as they know, in my mind, for some reason, I hear that sound effect. So it only makes me want to go to do it. So let's wait until we get some drum rolls into the chat. Do we have the drum rolls? Okay. All right. It looks like we do. So I'm going to spin that wheel. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. All right. And it looks like it's going to be Miss Crystal Wright. You are the winner of a $25 gift-o-gram. Fantastic. Congratulations, Crystal. You'll be getting an email from us very shortly. So congrats. And once again, folks, can't thank you enough for getting a chance to join us. We will be doing more in our spring edition. And Haley actually alluded to it. There's a brand new topic, if you will, that we'll be sharing. And so you don't want to miss that. So you're going to be able to catch it all in our community platform. And then we'll be sending out email recaps for anybody to reference our webinars. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Be safe, be kind, Spring break is around the corner. Enjoy and take time for yourself. All right, everyone. It's been a pleasure as always, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take care.